When we talk about the AI boom, we usually picture these giant, secretive companies and their closed-off labs. But there's another story, a huge one you might not know, that's all about open collaboration. And it's being led by a company with a friendly emoji for a name. This is the story of Hugging Face. So we're all seeing these incredible AI models, right? They can write, code, create art. It's amazing. But here's the catch. Building them from scratch costs millions and takes huge teams of experts. It's a game pretty much reserved for a handful of tech giants. But what if there was another way? Make no mistake, we're in a full-blown AI gold rush. Every major company is racing to build the next big thing. The problem is, training these models requires an absolutely monumental amount of computing power and data. This creates a really closed-off ecosystem where only the biggest players can even afford to compete. So if you're not one of them, you're kind of left on the sidelines.
Okay, so that's the problem. And this is where Hugging Face comes into the picture. It's become the solution, the place people go. It's often called the GitHub for AI, and for good reason. It's the central hub for the entire machine learning community. And its origin story, well, it's probably not what you're thinking.
See, this company didn't start in some sterile, high-tech research lab. No. Back in 2016, a few French entrepreneurs, Clément Delong, Julien Chalmond, and Thomas Wolfe, created a chatbot app for teenagers. They named their company after the hugging face emoji because they wanted to build a friendly AI. And that friendly, open spirit ended up defining their entire mission.
So what happened next was kind of wild. They open-sourced the model that powered their chatbot, and boom, the developer community went crazy for it. They saw this massive interest and pivoted fast. Today, the Hugging Face Hub is pretty much an essential platform for AI developers everywhere. It's where they find, share, and build on the core components of modern AI.
And when I say they grew, I mean they really grew. Just look at this timeline. From a simple chatbot app in 2016 to raising $40 million in 2021. Just 1 year later, they hit a $2 billion valuation. And then by 2023, they more than doubled that to a mind-blowing $4.5 billion. That's not just growth, that's a straight-up rocket ship.
So what's the secret sauce here? How did they pull this off? Well, it all comes down to a simple but really radical idea: open source. Instead of locking AI away behind closed doors, they decided to give the keys to everyone. And that decision completely changed who gets to build the future.
And this right here, this is the core of their entire philosophy. By making these cutting-edge AI models available for free, they just shattered the financial and technical barriers that kept so many people out of the game. The independent developers, the academic researchers, the small startups. It's all about leveling the playing field. And the scale of this platform is just staggering. We're talking over 1 million pre-trained models. So think about it. If you're a developer and you need an AI that can translate languages, or analyze customer reviews, or recognize images, chances are the foundation for it is already built and just waiting for you on the hub. But the models are just the start.
Because, what good is an engine without fuel? To train or fine-tune those million-plus models, you need data. A lot of it. The hub also provides over 250,000 datasets. This is the raw material that developers use to customize an AI for their specific needs.
So who's actually using all this stuff? Well, over 50,000 organizations. And we're talking about everyone, from tiny two-person startups all the way up to the biggest names in the business. Companies like Google, Microsoft, and Meta. They are all using and building on top of Hugging Face.
What this all boils down to is a complete shift in how we build AI. The old way, the closed way, was incredibly slow, super expensive, and all the knowledge was locked up inside individual companies. The Hugging Face way is the total opposite. It's fast, it's free, and it's collaborative. It's like the difference between every car maker trying to reinvent the engine from scratch versus having one amazing, high-performance engine that everybody can use and help improve.
Okay, but how does this actually work in practice? How does Hugging Face take something so insanely complex and make it so accessible? It all comes down to their toolkit, which is honestly surprisingly simple to use.
The crown jewel of their toolkit is something called the Transformers library. Now, for developers, this thing is basically magic. It's a library for the Python programming language that lets you tap into some of the most powerful models ever created, like Google's BERT or OpenAI's GPT-2, with just a few simple lines of code.
And if you want to see the real magic, look no further than the pipeline function. This is what truly makes AI accessible to so many people. It just hides all the complexity. You literally give it a piece of text, tell it you want to do sentiment analysis, for example, and it handles everything else behind the scenes. It takes what used to be a PhD-level problem and turns it into a simple 3-step process. That's a game changer.
Okay, so a question that comes up a lot is, hey, what about other tools, like LangChain? Are they competitors? And the answer is a big nope. They're actually partners in crime. They do different things that work great together. If Hugging Face provides the powerful engine, the actual AI model, then LangChain provides the chassis and the steering wheel that lets you chain those engines together to build a complete, complex application.
Now, all of this incredible usefulness and this central role in the AI world has definitely not gone unnoticed. So let's zoom back out and follow the money, because it tells a very, very clear story about just how important Hugging Face has become.
In 2023, the company raised a new funding round, and we're talking about $235 million. But what's even crazier than the number is who gave them that money. It came from the very giants of the tech industry.
I mean, just look at this list. You've got Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, Salesforce, Intel, IBM. It's literally a who's who of big tech. These are the companies that are defining the entire AI landscape, and every single one of them is placing a major bet on Hugging Face.
So why? Why are they all investing? It's because they all recognize that Hugging Face isn't just a platform anymore. It's become the essential, foundational infrastructure for the entire open-source AI movement. Think of it like this. It's the roads, the bridges, the public square. To be relevant in modern AI, you have to be there.
And all of this brings us to one final, really important question. The story of Hugging Face basically represents a fork in the road for AI. Is the future going to be dominated by a few massive, closed-off models controlled by a handful of companies? Or will it be built on an open, collaborative, and decentralized ecosystem that's accessible to everyone? Hugging Face is betting everything on open, and so far, it looks like the rest of the world is betting on them.